Hello, I am the Basic Viewer, and today, as my first video, I will be reviewing a video game called Heroes of Might and Magic 3. This game is the third in a series of 6, all being spin-offs continuing the story of Might and Magic, a very old RPG game which I might review in the future. And it's objectively the best of the 6, as nothing has ever topped it. 4 was a bit of a disaster, 5 was just a copy, and 6, I haven't played 6 to give you a real review, but I heard it's quite bad too. As I mentioned before, this game is a part of 6 games, therefore there were 2 before it. Hom 1 was the start of the series and it was a good game, but it got improved quickly upon by Hom 2, which is the second best game in the series, and it's like fried chicken to Humphrey's bacon. Hom 3 is ultimately the better snack, or rather game of the 2, but Hom 2 was still an excellent addition to the series. Hom 3 just took it, shook it, and then left it crying to itself in self-pity because that's how good Hom 3 is. Hom 3 is my favourite strategy game of all time. The pros of the game include its varied campaigns and scenarios, both in the base, Restoration of Arathia, and the 2 expansions, Armageddon's Blade and Shadow of Death. The campaigns in the base game tied together, for example when you capture the city of Stedwick and then have to take it back later on. Another example of this is when all the heroes in Shadow of Death come together on a last excellent ending campaign. My favourite scenario, and probably the best scenario in the game, is the adventures of Jared Harriet from the Shadow of Death expansion. The soundtrack is absolutely astonishing. When you hear the day sound come on when you start the game, that the end of the week sound, the start of combat, hell there's too many to even list, but the most important thing is the combat sounds. Every single unit has a unique sound set. For when they hit an enemy, free breathe fire. When they move, so like flapping of wings. When they get hit also. All the spells have great sound effects as well. The only thing not good about the combat is the fact that the music playing in the background is repeating over and over and over and over and over and over again. But it's not the sort of catchy you'd like. It's just really annoying because it plays like, I don't know, I would say 1,000 times during a game, like a long match, it will be 1,000 times, and by a long match I mean 4 to 6 hours at the least. Graphics in this game are highly stylized, as you can see on the screen, and they look quite good even today. This is because all of the units look unique, the hero types look unique, not the heroes themselves are unique portraits, but they don't have unique in-game models. This has always been in the game series, and will continue to be in it, I assume, in Heroes of Might and Magic 7. The only time I can think of when this is not true is the unique models Yogg, Jellu and Craghack have when playing the Shadow of Death campaigns, and Gem, she's truly outrageous. There are 9 factions in Heroes of Might and Magic 3, which include 3 neutral, Fortress, Conflux and Stronghold, 3 typical evil, Inferno, Dungeon and Necropolis, and 3 typical goody goods, Rampart, Castle and Tower. I will talk about the units upcoming now. Castle is the mainly human faction. It contains pikemen, archers, griffins, which, I know, aren't human, swordsmen, monks, cavaliers, and humanoid angels, which evolve into archangels who can res your unit. Rampart is a nature-themed faction which contains centaurs, dwarves, elves, pegasi, dendroids, which are basically ents, unicorns, and green and gold dragons. Tower is the magical faction. It contains gremlins, gargoyles, golems, mages, genies, naga, and the titans, which basically in a nutshell means mages and their creations, because gargoyles and golems, nagas, genies, gremlins have... I don't know if titans were mage created, but considering they're in Tower where every other unit aside from mages and creations, then I guess they must be. And now moving on to the evil factions, we start off with Inferno, which is the hell-themed faction, which contains imps, gogs, hellhounds, demons, ifrits, pitlords, and devils. Dungeon is the mythical-themed faction of the game, which contains troglodytes, harpies, beholders, medusas, minotaurs, manticores, and black dragons. Black dragons are the badasses of the Hom franchise, as before the expansions hit, they are always the strongest unit you can build. Their unupgraded version, which is the red dragons, are always overlooked, but they are powerful. But no one cares about the red dragons. I don't think I'll need to list off any more factions and their units, as you pretty much get the point that every single one has a very good theme, and they stick to this theme with units that are just under the theme. This is a staple in the series, except with some exceptions in Hom 2. The only problem I have with faction themes is Conflux, because it's mainly elemental. It contains the 4 elements, which is air, fire, water, and earth. Alright? Okay, that's fine. And then it tries to make up an element by calling it a psychic element. It just makes no sense. You might as well just make up another unit like you did with Nymph and Phoenixes and call it a satyr or something. I don't know. But you didn't need to come up with a psychic element, because psychic powers and magical powers are not an element. They're just magic. Come on. Oh, the almighty issue of balance. There are only two big problems that have the balance in this game, and it's because of the resource silos. The resource silos are incredibly unbalanced because 4 factions, which are Stronghold, Castle, Fortress and Necropolis, all get 1 wood and 1 ore per day, which are used to build every other unit aside from your main unit. Well, they are used in the creation of the last unit, so that's also unfair. And the other factions get only the material they need for the last unit. This means the other factions get the last unit faster, but the 4 factions I listed get every other unit faster than the other 5 factions. That's where the unbalance comes in, and whereas the height... Another thing about Necropolis is the fact that Necromancy is probably the most OP passive skill in the game. And this is because Necromancy lets you resurrect fallen units as skeletons, which means that if you have an army with tons of skeletons on it, your losses get instantly patched up, which is almost game breaking. And just to clarify, you might say to yourself, but wait, if you get the resources you need to complete the last unit in your chain, then the last unit must be super strong. And well, yes, this does apply, but only to Black Dragons and Titans, which are very, very strong. Whereas the Gold Dragons, which are Rampart, and the Phoenixes, which are Conflux, are both weaker than the other units. Archdemons are about even with everybody, so there's no point in them having the... The way you can claim that the resource silos are balanced is by the fact that they cost 5k gold, the same amount that the City Hall cost. The City Hall provides you with 2k gold, however, whereas the silos only provide you with a few materials. To me, personally, this game is a complete and utter 10 out of 10. It is the masterpiece of the turn-based genre. I don't think there has been a game that was better since, and I don't think there will ever be a better game than this to me personally. So as a little outro, I give you all of the music from every town for the next minute and a half if you want to watch that. But in case there's something wrong with you and you don't want to watch the last 2.5 minutes of this video, then thanks for watching. Leave comments where I could improve, and thank you again.